Good late morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. Is the first day of July. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. First day of June 2023. I hope you're safe and healthy today. Most important that you and your family are safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, who, along with the first responders, are out here every day risking their lives, oftentimes, to save the other lives. Blessings also upon those that pick up garbage, the menial work of keeping our streets and sidewalks clean and disease free, as long as the humble work that people do to make deliveries over roads, over dangerous places sometimes, in all kinds of weather for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here doing the heroic work of rescuing, helping, recovering the teenagers and the children that are the unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. The people that are out here recovering those that are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, those that are victims of pornography and victims of child pornography, the victims that are trying to get recovered of human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things. Double curses on those that profit from human flesh and these things. Double curses on the perverts that create a demand such that other perverts seek to provide a supply. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, mostly children, homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. I want to tell you, I'm trying to keep myself from being excited. I really am, because I did see a couple of you saw, Brother Winston gave me today, but a couple of you gave me the information that I saw, the Christos Porzingis interview. And I'm excited about this interview for a couple of reasons. Number one, before we get started, let me just say, there is a strong possibility that this will not happen. It's 50-50. Okay, so I'm not guaranteeing KP to the Knicks, but a lot of you will bear witness. I've been talking about this 6 months at least, the possibility of KP to the Knicks. I've been talking about it, and some of you ignorant ones don't look at anything except just look at what's on the first part of your mind and say, oh, he's injury prone. I've been watching KP since the year before. Some of you say, well, he was hurt then, but I noticed a change in him, both in him as a basketball player and in him mature-wise. See, when he got drafted by the Knicks, he was 19 years old. New York ain't easy on anybody. Okay? And when you're 19, coming from some small country in Northern Europe, you could be overwhelmed by New York, by the fans, by the media, by everything. And then add to that an incompetent management led by Phil Jackson at the time, as we now know. This was a difficult situation. And so being 19, what he did is he left all his business affairs in the hands of his brother. He didn't know any better. And his brother didn't know what he was doing. And so it ended up being a mess. And KP ended up leaving and going to Dallas, as we know. Fast forward now, 8 years. Can you believe that? Now KP's going to be 27. He's a grown man now. And he understands that he acted like a child then. His brother is no longer controlling all of his affairs. And now he understands that he has some unfinished business in New York. See, his goal was to get the Knicks to the playoffs and then to the championship. He didn't understand then all that it took. He understands now. What else I saw was when he first came to the Knicks, he was trying to prove himself to New York, and he was diving all over the place and playing kind of reckless, which led to him in his frail frame getting hurt more often than he should. Okay? He has now learned. I saw it last year and then this season. He plays with more wisdom. He plays more under control. He doesn't put himself in positions to be hurt. And he even said in the interview that he learned how to train and how to get himself ready so that he can be at his best over the long period of time for the season. He played 65 games this year. And I think you can expect 60 at least going forward. I put trying to be conservative. He could play more, but I'm being conservative and saying if we can get 60 out of him, it's better than what we don't have with him. That's how good I feel Kristaps Porzingis is. I was very excited. In fact, y'all won't know that, but before the draft that season, I called the Knicks drafting him. There was a guy, I forgot his name, but he was in California, and he mentioned this kid, Kristaps Porzingis, and I started looking at him. This was like April of that season, of that year, before he was drafted, and understanding that the Knicks had a chance to get him. Then I started hearing that Phil Jackson might like him. I wanted the Knicks. That was my number one pick for the Knicks at that year was KP. And why? The IQ, the obvious skill level, okay? And then the length and what he could do with it. All together looked to me like a championship piece. Now, the injuries, as I said, there was a couple of issues with that. His frail frame, his over enthusiasm to try to prove himself caused him to get hurt. Okay, I feel like I said, I noticed both maturity-wise on the floor, how he handled himself off the floor is completely different now. He's a grown man. Okay, he's always been to me a little bit more mature than his age, but he was still 19 and 20. Okay. Then the ACL thing happened, and it just everything was out of control. And partially it's Kristaps' fault. But again, he was young. He left everything to his brother. His brother was not the smartest apple on the cart in terms of handling big business in the NBA. It's not easy. And then you combine that with mismanagement on the Knicks side. Okay, so it was a big mess all the way around. It was good that they traded him. They had to trade him. It was just a mess at that time until they could get their management together. Now, since they got the Don, management is tight. They got draft picks. They got young players. 2 of the last 3 seasons, they top 5 in the East. And they're getting better. Okay? So now there's a strong possibility that the Knicks can acquire Kristaps Porzingis. And if you don't understand that they'd be interested in that, you really don't know basketball. This guy is one of the most talented big men in the NBA. The only thing difference between him and the Joker is his durability issues. Joker plays the game on, really, even though Joker is big, and he plays the game on the ground level. He doesn't really depend on athleticism. And he's got more bulk, actually. And so, he that's why the Joker is who he is. He could play, 70, 80 games, get you those big numbers. KP's not like that. KP is obviously slimmer. So but he plays a similar game. He doesn't need to play above the rim in terms of trying to be athletic. Just reaching his hand up, he's above the rim. But he doesn't have to take risks. That's what I'm saying. And he's learned how to do that. Okay? He's going to be in his prime. Now, the issues are, and some of you guys don't understand how this works. Let me explain something to you. There's multiple ways that this could happen. Multiple ways. More than 2. There's at least 3 different ways. The Knicks could make a trade. See, Kristaps Porzingis has until June 21st to opt out of his deal. Okay, June 21st. The draft is June 22nd. Okay, they could make a trade. They can make an agreement before June 22nd. And the pick, some of y'all still, like, for example, some of y'all are still tripping that Kai Jones was not a Knick. When the Knicks were never picking Kai Jones to be a Knick. They were always picking him for another team. Some of y'all still can't get over that. But sometimes deals are made behind the scenes that when a team makes a pick, they're not picking it for themselves. And then they announce it later. That's what happened with the Knicks. And if you don't know the Don by now, you know he's good for stuff like that. So the Washington Wizards could make a deal with the Knicks and take the 8th pick, but that pick could be for New York. They could be picking who New York wants. Okay? I'm not saying it has to happen that way. Like I said, there's multiple ways. That's one way. Another way is Kristaps opts out of his deal on the 21st. He's an unrestricted free agent. The Knicks, now that $33 million can come off their books. The Knicks can send them players Evan Fournier, Isaiah Hartenstein, but the star of that transaction would be Emmanuel Quickly, their new starting point guard. And they can sign Kristaps Porzingis to a new extension, a new deal. Okay, probably be 3 years, 90 million, somewhere in that vicinity, right? And now you have that. Okay, if I'm the Knicks, that's who I want to send out. I want to send out Emmanuel Quickly, Isaiah Hartenstein, and I want to send out Evan Fournier for obvious reasons. The money works, and you're really right there. What you're doing is you're replacing two pieces in Mobb Deep, Hartenstein and Quickly, and you're replacing them with Mitch Rob and Deuce. That's what you're doing. Okay, so you move Deuce up into Mobb Deep. You put Mitch Rob on Mobb Deep. So now on Mobb Deep you have Mitch Rob, Obi, Deuce, and Hart. That's what you have on your Mobb Deep. See, it was like 2-3 years ago when first before Mitch Rob became the full-time starter, they were playing him in Mobb Deep some, and that Mobb Deep was humming. Okay, now all of those guys are a little older, more mature, better. Mobb Deep would be one of the top 5 in the league, coming off the bench, and that would be huge in terms of playoffs. Then your starting 5, even if you kept Julius Randle, KP, RJ, Grimes, and now you got Brunson, that's the guy that stirs the pot. On top of that, Brunson and KP have played together before and played well together before. This team, like that's why I know the Knicks would be interested in doing this. The question is the money. This team would be a top 3 team in the East. They will be a threat to go all the way. You'd have to have the Knicks starting next preseason. You'd be hearing people talking about the Knicks are a threat to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. You'd be hearing people talk about that. Okay, and they'll be saying this based on Kristaps Porzingis' help. But really, even though that would be true, just imagine now you have Mitchell Robinson coming. Mitchell Robinson, one of the top, if not the top, offensive rebounder in the NBA. One of the top defenders in the NBA. You have him backing up Kristaps Porzingis. Okay, and if you needed, and then if you wanted to keep Julius Randle, as much as he's mercurial, much as he have all kind of attitude problem, dude plays every night, and you could still have him next to Mitch Rob. You could still have Obi next to Mitch Rob. You could play Obi and KP. You could play KP and Mitch Rob. You got too many combinations. There's just too many. Okay. Then, of course, I told you 3 different ways. Then, of course, there is the possibility of trading Julius Randle for and signing Kristaps Porzingis. You still good. Okay, you still good. There's too many ways to get this done. Okay, too many. It could get done. The question is the willingness of the Knicks and the willingness of KP. Now, after watching, I'm going to put the link in the description box for the interview that most of y'all have seen already. But I'm going to put it out there for y'all. The dude is open to coming back to New York. I'm not saying it's a slam dunk, but I could tell you from listening to, you cannot tell me from listening to the interview, he's not open to the possibility. You know, if you know KP even a little bit just from when he was here, he's a determined young man. There's some unfinished business. There's no more Phil Jackson to deal with. There's no more Steve Mills to deal with. There's no more Scott Perry to deal with. Now you're dealing with the Dom. Now you're dealing with Tibbs. Now you're dealing with Jalen Brunson. I'm trying to stay cool because this one move could change everything for New York. This one move. Okay, this is what I've been talking about all year. And I've been looking at this and I've been looking. This is a fit. Just based on my own basketball experience and seeing how things fit, this is a fit. And as I mentioned to you, it fits so many ways. You got Julius and KP, Mitch Rob and KP, Obi and KP, Obi and Mitch Rob, Julius and Mitch Rob. You got two, and don't get crazy and say what you could do. Let's try KP, Mitch Rob, and Juju along the front line. Let's run that for a little bit and see how that works. Y'all. In this way, I'm gonna tell you something. You put KP out there, RJ's gonna be better. Because now you got, let's assume Julius Randle is Julius Randle. He's gonna do the same thing, right? He's not gonna get any better, but he's not gonna get any worse. In other words, he can win you some games some night, he can lose you some games some night. Look here. You would now have 4 players, solid, high IQ basketball players. That is Kristaps Porzingis, RJ, Grimes, and Brunson. High IQ basketball-wise basketball players. Don't get flustered. Know how to handle yourself in pressure. Deal with double teams. That's how you got it. Now, not only that, KP would be either your second or your third option. Because now you got Brunson, Julius, and KP, which gives RJ. RJ becomes problems when you don't watch him. Yo, this is too easy. That's why I'm so nervous about it. It's too easy. It's too easy. Okay? So it's all dependent on whether or not KP wants to come to New York, and I feel like he does. And whether or not the Knicks want KP, and I feel like they do. So now we got to see how the money works. And as I said, there's multiple ways to do this. To me, the headliner coming from New York would really realistically, even though I'd like it to be Julius Randle, realistically, it's going to be IQ. IQ is from the DMV area. Washington needs a point guard of his caliber. If they're able to re-sign Kuzma, and they got Gafford, and they got Denny Avdija. Denny Avdija is their future. Some people talking about they want to get Denny Avdija. Again, let's stop being fantasy world. Denny Avdija is a centerpiece going forward for Washington. Beal is at the end of his career. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if they didn't try to trade Beal to get more young assets for him, because he's a $200 million dude. He's 30 or more. So, I could see them. If I was them, I'd be trying to trade him and get something from, get some draft capital and get some pieces for my future. But let's assume they don't do that. You got Beal, you got IQ in the backcourt. You got Daniel Gafford, and you got Denny Avdija on the wing, and you still got Corey Kispert, another solid piece. That year that Kispert and Gafford, Kispert, it was Kispert and Avdija came in the league. That 2-year period, that was the same year IQ came in there. And then the year before that, that was the year after that, 2021 and 2020. Those are the 2 best draft years I think that have been since the LeBron and Melo years when they came in the league, and that's like 04. Those 2 years were really deep drafts, those 2 years. And I knew that, and that's why I'm glad the Knicks were able to scoop some talent up in those 2 drafts, because that's how we got Q-Dog, that's how we got Deuce, we still got Joko Bidas, we got Jericho Sims, that's how we got Obi, that's how we got IQ. It's really deep draft, okay? So they came with some really good players. So you have IQ with Beal, you have Gafford, you have Avdija, Kispert. You got a good team. And then they go ahead and re-sign Kuzma, which he's probably going to stay because they're going to probably want to keep him if they don't want to rebuild. Now you got a nice squad. Okay, if you're Washington. I don't know if it's a playoff team or not, but with IQ running that thing, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so because I feel like IQ is that good. He's going to make everybody, and that's the thing, he's going to make everybody around him better. So this is a good deal for both teams. IQ will be the centerpiece going to Washington. KP will be the centerpiece coming to New York. Both teams win. It's too easy. Like I said, I'm just going to wait. I'm really holding my breath on this because this is really too easy. It makes too much sense. It really does. It makes too much sense. It's just a question of what money's going out. And if you're Washington, you really don't have a lot of choice because KP could just walk and leave you with nothing. Or you can get Emmanuel quickly to be your starting point guard. What would you do? I'd take IQ. No doubt. Okay. Then you have Fournier. He's expiring. You could use him off your bench. Okay. You got Isaiah Hartenstein. He's a hustler. As we know, give all his heart off the bench. That'd be a good move for y'all. Okay. So, and you don't have to do the eighth pick. It's possible, but you don't have to do it. If I'm the Knicks, for me personally, I don't care about the eighth pick. I told you the Knicks don't need no draft picks this year. But if you give me KP and I still got my team, you just substituted 2 bench pieces for KP, I'm good. And the Knicks are good. And they will be good. Let's see what happens. It's not that much longer. We're going to find out in the next 20 days or so. And KP didn't, the thing about KP, when you watch this interview, he didn't give away his cards, man. This is the key thing. When a player says, let's see what happens. First of all, and I know, if Washington wanted to keep him, they'd have already thrown their best offer. Listen, this is the best offer we got. And he had that on the table for March. And he ain't signed it. Okay? This has happened before in the NBA. That the player is telling you, I'm going to see what else is out there. If there was no doubt he was signing with Washington, he'd have done it. So now the door is open. He could still be signed with Washington. But I'm telling you right now, the door is open. And look at this. If you're KP, you got a team with a solid management. You left the team with a messed up management. They're solid management now. They got draft picks now. They got a 2-time All-NBA player and an up-and-coming 22-year-old. They got Deuce. They got Deuce, but I'm saying they got Grimes on the wing, solid. And they got Jalen Brunson, who now runs the team. See, KP and Luka, but KP and Brunson, tell you something, y'all. Let me just keep myself cool. This is not easy, man. This is looking good. So anyway, we're going to see what happens. I'm psyched. I'm psyched about it. But we're going to see what happens. This is a strong possibility. And I know some of y'all still can't see it. I don't care. I see it. This Knicks team, with what I just said, top 3 in the East. Okay? And that's all I care about. Can we win? And can we win long term? Can we sustain it? Yes. Y'all please enjoy your Thursday. Be safe out there. Shalom.